All right, well here we go. We're actually getting stuck right into the guts of things now with our 19R at Nortec Marine. And look, what we've found is we've basically up until now just stripped the whole hull, had a good look under the floor, had a good look at the construction of the whole thing and just what condition it's all in now. Obviously once we've pulled everything off, including the motor, we've found that there's a lot of holes in this transom. Over the years they've had burly buckets and bolt-ons and motors and all sorts of bits and pieces, different transducer cables, all sorts. So we also had to raise, because we're going to be using this to test a number of different new motors, the old 20-inch transom, which is a long shaft transom, that's 20 inches between the top of the plate and the bottom of the keel here. We actually need to raise it for our new extra long transoms. We need to raise it about 5 inches. So we were originally thought, well, if the transom's good, we'll just raise this transom, just bring this transom height up. But having a look at it with all the holes in it, a little bit of rot in the hull, we've done some core samples and found that there's been moisture in it over the years and there is some rot in there. So we've decided we're actually going to completely strip this transom off and put a brand new transom into it, so it's going to be good, it's going to be strong, and it's going to be fully capable of taking a good, gutsy new 150 horsepower motor. We're up at Nortec at the moment, and I've got company owner Michael Fitzallen, commonly called Fitzy. What do you reckon, Fitzy? What are we up to?
This transom's got to have 150 horses hanging off the back of it. With the way it is, and according to our water meter, it's not going to happen. So we've got to do the whole lot again. So what we're going to do is cut the outer skin all the way out, pull all the rot all the way out, laminate a brand new piece of ply in there, and then glass it up like it's brand new. And then it should be as good as new.
Well, there's boat builders and there's boat builders. This bloke's actually a shipwright. This is Nortec Marine's Scotty Hearle. Scotty, what have you found and how are we going to fix it?
Now we've cut all the outer skin. Now we're going to remove the outer skin. You can sort of see from the transom where I've made all the cuts, really made it easier to detach from the transom itself. All things being well, this should come off fairly easily and then expose the core timber, which we believe is rotten, or we know is rotten, all around here. All these little holes and everything you can see, water's got in somewhere and then all running to the bottom. Generally water, when you start to see water in transoms, no good. So you can sort of see now there's still water dripping out down low. Just looking at that, like this, all through here is fairly knackered. Like as you sort of work lower in the transom, it's not too bad, but still the fact that there's water in the transom, there's definitely signs of rot. Still transfer down. Keep cracking with it. It's always a good trick when you've got multiple layups going in of different cloths. Write it down on the job first as to what you're going to lay up, how you're going to lay up, when you're going to lay up. As you go, cross it off as you go because it's so easy to get lost.
This is something that people wouldn't probably think of normally. A lot of people just get a piece of paper, a bit of cardboard and start cutting templates. This is actually the proper way to do a template, so as you know that it's going to fit first time, first cut, every time. Isn't it, Scott?
It is big.
So you're basically just hot glue gun and gluing this framework together, and then it'll be removed and transferred straight to the plywood. So we're not doing any wastage.
Nope. No, that template's just built out of really cheap 6mm MDF. Job gets done, and that'll end up being a template for something else down the track again anyway. So
it's all good. Down here we've got obviously you've been through this week, and if you remember all the holes that were in this transom, it's really destroyed the old transom.
There were many.
There were many. You've actually glassed it from the inside and the out.
Yep. Yeah, it's now bulletproof. I don't know if we saw it last time or not, but when the old transom came out, all this was all loose. It's basically falling out of the boat. The inside skin had detached itself from the deck mould. It's now structurally solid and part of it again.
And all those little holes
gone
are all full.
So this is the last bit of the jigsaw. All I'm really doing now is just adding support to it all, so when I do pull it out of the back of the boat, it's not going to fall apart on me. I can lay it on top of the marine ply and it'll be all nice and rigid and ready to work with.
So Scotty,
There.
there it is, mate.
One transom.
Minimise the amount of wastage we've got, but get it right the first time. There's the template all
Correct.
done, and all we've got to do is mark it out.
Yeah,
cut it out.
mark it out, cut it out, get it back in the transom, glue it in. A little bit of shaping to be done, as we said earlier.
Yep.
But yeah, it's pretty much, that is the shape that will end up in the back of the boat.
And we're doing 2 layers of that, all properly bonded together.
Correct.
And then work from the outside to seal it all
Yep.
up, yeah?
Yep.
Excellent. Boat building's an interesting trade because you really need to know so many different mediums, fiberglass, steel, aluminium, all sorts of different trades.
That's correct, yeah, very much so. Yeah, we get known as jack of all trades, master of none.
Absolutely.
We're into everything.
Yep. So your intentions with this, you're pretty happy with what we're doing here?
Yeah, very happy. It's being a 19R, we know it's structurally strong. It's built as strong as we ever really want it. From this point on, we basically show it a lot of love and bring it back to its former glory, based on today's technology.
There's a lot of technology now in fiberglass where we can actually build a lot of boats a bit lighter but still a bit stronger. But
Correct.
still, in the old days, mate, there was no substitute for a bit of extra glass in there.
Definitely not. Definitely not. It's like, as I say, that they're built like a brick shit house.
They are.
Really.
Absolutely.
Good one.
We can bleep that.
Handy hint for DIYers at home, if you're doing a transom and you do have to laminate 2 pieces of timber together, always put grease and stuff on any fastenings you put in. All the fastenings go in need to come out. Put grease on it. Once it goes through the epoxy, it won't stick to the epoxy. So you'll be able to get it out easily in 24 hours time. That's basically it. So that's in now. That's handy. That's in now. That'll clamp it. Then come 24 hours time, they'll be able to unscrew that quite easily without any dramas.
Round off all the corners as fiberglass simply won't stick on square edges, and then start on the lamination schedule of chop strand mat and double bias cloth combination. The fiberglass mat comes in rolls. Chop strand mat can be simply torn off to suit, but the woven mat must be cut to shape with a sharp knife or scissors. You'll be needing clean rollers and brushes for laminating. It's time to mix the resin. This boat was originally built with polyester resin, and other than improvements in chemical structure, we still use basically the same thing today. The fiberglass for our Nortec N19R was supplied to us from our good friends at Nuplex Composites. The catalyst or hardener level can vary with the temperature and humidity of the workshop, but a good rule of thumb is around 1% catalyst to resin mix. Mix it in well, and most modern resins will change colour, showing it's well mixed. Watch out when handling the catalyst though, it's nasty stuff. Make sure all the surfaces that you're laminating are wet with plenty of resin in all the nooks and crannies. You may need an extra couple of pairs of hands to help you with the big long sheets. Once fully wet out, they should stay in place, but it can get a bit fiddly. Disposable gloves are a great idea at this stage. Roll out the fiberglass, making sure it all gets wet with resin and that the edges overlap the existing fiberglass. The cloth will become translucent when it's wet, but make sure to roll out all of the air bubbles. Our lamination schedule includes woven cloth for maximum strength. Chop strand particles do stick together when they've cured, but the woven cloth allows cross-sectional continuous lengths, giving maximum inherent strength. We like to do a couple of layers at a time, allowing suitable curing time in between. If you've put on too much at a time, it can create too much heat and actually weaken the structure. Don't forget to sand it all smooth between laminations, or you'll create air pockets for the next layer. When we've completed our full lamination schedule, then comes the long process of sanding, filling and final shaping. It can be a long process, but it's important to get it right for our final appearances. We're using brushing gel coat with thickeners as filler. Paint it on reasonably thick, and when cured, run a straight edge over to find the holes and lumps along the surface. Filling and sanding is a multiple process that's very time consuming. We finish it off by slowly reducing the sandpaper grit size until we reach a mirror finish.
Then the job's done and we're ready for painting.